Dear students, in the previous session, you have learned about computer network, types of computer network, and the various networking device that we use to set up a network. In this session, we will look at the main types of network topologies, their benefits and drawbacks, and consideration for determining which one is the best for an organization. In this session, you will learn about introduction to network topology and what are the various types of networking topologies available on the network. Introduction to network topology. Now, what is network topology? It is the physical way in which computers are interconnected. A network is formed when we connect computers, and how we physically connect them, that is called network topology. The configuration or topology of a network is a key for determining its performance. How you have configured your network, which topology you have used. On that basis, the performance of a network depends. There are numerous ways a network can be arranged, all with different pros and cons, and some are more useful in certain circumstances than other. So we have various types of topologies in which we can arrange our network, and each one of them have their own pros and cons, and some may be useful in certain organizations, other may be useful in some other organization. So actually it depends upon the requirement, which type of requirement you have. Think of your network as a city and the topology as the roadmap. If you consider your network as a city and the topology is basically the roadmap. Just as there are many ways to arrange a city, there are several ways to arrange a network. Now, if you want to arrange a city, there are several ways. There are several ways you can design the roadmap. Similarly, to form a network, we can design the network using various types of topologies. Right topology can increase performance while making it easier to locate faults, troubleshoot errors, and more efficiently allocate resources across the network to ensure optimal network health. If you choose right kind of topology for your network, then definitely it will increase your performance. It will be easy to locate faults, means where the network is not working, what is the problem, you can easily locate that. Troubleshoot error, you can find the errors and remove them, and more efficiently allocate resources. Network is used to share the resources, so if network is managed properly, you can efficiently use the resources to ensure optimal network health. What we have understand from network topology, it is the physical way in which computers are interconnected. How we have physically connected our computer, that is called network topology. There are 4 types of network topologies, basically bus topology, star topology, tree topology, and mesh topology. There are 2 more types of network topology, ring topology and hybrid topology. They are not in your syllabus, so we are not discussing them in detail. We will discuss on only these 4 types of topologies. The selection of a topology depends on cost. If we want to select a topology for our network, then we have to follow some criteria. We have to measure it on certain standards. So what is the first criteria? Cost. For a network to be cost effective, one would try to minimize installation cost. The topology should be such that it should not increase the cost of our network. Topology should always try to minimize the installation cost. Second criteria is flexibility. The topology should allow for easy reconfiguration of the network. This involves moving existing nodes and adding new ones. your topology should be flexible. What is the meaning of flexible? Means if in future we have to add some nodes or we have to remove some faulty nodes, then it should be easier. It should not stop the working of the network. The network functioning should remain unaffected. Third criteria is reliability. The topology chosen for the network can help by allowing the location of the fault to be detected. The topology chosen should be such that you can easily locate the fault, which node is faulty, which cable is not working. So it should be easy to find the fault and to provide some means of isolating it. If some node is not working, we can easily isolate it from the rest of the network so that rest network remains unaffected. So what we have learned, that there are three types of selection criteria on which we select our topology. First is cost. Cost should be minimum. Flexibility, it should be easy to add and remove nodes on the network. Reliability, it should be easy to detect faults and easy to isolate the faulty nodes. First type of topology is bus or linear topology. It consists of a single length of transmission medium onto which various nodes are connected. Now here we have a single cable. Look in this picture. We have single cable, and to this cable these 6 nodes are connected. Now what are nodes? Nodes, when a computer is connected to the network, it is termed as node. Node is just a computer but which is connected to the network. In this picture we have a single cable length and all these nodes are connected to this cable. Look at this picture. There are 2 terminators at the end of the cable. Now what is the use of these terminators? These terminator indicates the end of the cable. What is the need to install them? The need is, if the backbone is not terminated, then signal is likely to bounce back from the end of the cable, causing data collision and noise that may disturb the network. If terminators are not placed at both ends, your data will bounce back. And when the data will bounce back, data will collide with each other and it will create some noise which will affect the working of your network. Second point is, data is transmitted in small blocks known as packets. Now when we have to send data from one node to another, your data is divided into smaller parts and those parts are called packets. Each packet has some data and its destination address. When we divide the data into packets, the packet contains some data and the destination address of that node to whom the data is to be delivered. Transmit some data by send it in the packet along with the bus. So after appending data and destination address, that data is sent on this cable, on this bus. Destination device copies the data onto its disk. When one node sends the data, all the other nodes on the network receive that data. But only that node will receive the data for which it is actually intended. Other will simply reject the data. So all nodes will receive, but it will be accepted by only that node for whom it is intended. And these all nodes are connected to the backbone cable using coaxial cables and RJ45 connectors. There are certain advantages of bus topology. First advantage is easy to connect a computer or peripheral to a linear bus. As we have discussed earlier that for connecting a node to bus topology, we just need a single coaxial cable or RJ45 connector. So they are easy to connect to the linear bus. Require less cable length than a star topology. In a star topology, all the computers or nodes are connected to the central hub. So it requires a long cable because all are connected to the central hub. But in bus topology, there is a single cable to whom all the nodes have to be connected. So it requires less cable length. It is simple architecture. We know single cable, and to that cable connect all the other nodes. So the architecture is simple. Well suited for temporary networks that must be set up in hurry. If in a hurry we have to set up some temporary network, then bus topology is well suited for them. Typically the cheapest topology to implement. Bus topology is cheapest to implement because we only need cables and RJ45 connectors. Failure of one station doesn't affect other. If one node stops working, then the other nodes on the network, they remain unaffected. So their working is not disturbed. That's why failure of one station does not affect others. These are some advantages of the bus topology. Disadvantages of bus topology. Entire network shuts down if there is a break in the main cable. We have a single cable, and to that cable all the nodes are connected. And if that cable experiences a failure, the whole network goes down, which can be time consuming and expensive to restore. Terminators are required at both ends of the backbone cable. We need terminators, otherwise your data will bounce back, data will collide, and it will create some noise. Difficult to identify the problem if the entire network shuts down. If your entire network shuts down, we will not be able to identify to find the fault, where the faulty node is, which cable is not working. That's why it is difficult to identify the problem. Not meant to be used as a standalone solution in a large building. In a large building, in a large network, we cannot use bus topology. It is not the standalone solution. Limited cable length and number of stations. Because we have a single cable, so the length of that cable is limited, and there is also a limit on the number of workstations that we can attach to that cable. Maintenance cost may be higher in long run. If your network stops working or some other requirements, then we have to change the whole backbone cable. So the maintenance cost is higher in long run. Performance degrades as additional computers are added. If we add more nodes to the single backbone cable, the performance of bus topology will definitely degrade. Therefore, these are some disadvantages of the bus topology. Okay. So what we have learned in bus topology, we have a single cable that is called backbone cable, and to that backbone cable there are two connectors at both ends, and all other nodes are connected to the backbone using coaxial cable and RJ45 connectors. Next type of topology is star topology. Devices are connected to central hub via coaxial cable, twisted pair, or fiber optic cable. All the devices are connected to the central hub. Look at this picture. We have a single hub and all other 4 nodes are connected to this hub, and they may be connected using coaxial cable, twisted pair, or fiber optic cable. Acting as a server, the central node manages data transmission as information sent from any node on the network has to pass through central one to reach its destination, and functions as a repeater which will help prevent data loss. Now this hub is acting as a server. Whenever any node wants to send data, the data will first go to the hub. It will go to the central hub, and after the central hub will send data to the destination. And this central hub also function as a repeater which will regenerate the signal, and regenerating the signals we can prevent data loss. Star topology is particularly appropriate for organizations that require a central database or central processing facility. For example, a star topology may be used in banking for centralized record keeping in an online branch office environment. Star topology is basically used there where we need a central database. All the other nodes are connected to the central database, like in bank. All the computers are connected to the server, and if any changes in the account is done, they will be reflected on the server. So in that situation, star topology is being used. Advantages of star topology. Advantages are easy to install and wire. We need one hub and cables, and all the nodes are connected to the central hub. No disruptions to the network when connecting or moving devices. If we want to add some more devices or we want to remove the devices, then there is no disruption to the network. Easy to detect faults and to remove parts. If one node is not receiving data, it means there might be some problem in its cable or in that node. So we can easily detect the fault and we can remove the part, and after repairing we can easily connect that particular node. That's why star topology is easy to detect fault and to remove parts. Disadvantages of star topology. Disadvantages: it requires more length than a linear topology. Definitely it needs more cable length because all the nodes are connected to the central hub, which means more cable. If the hub, switch or concentrator fails, node attached are disabled. Suppose if the central hub, this hub or switch stops working, then your network will stop working. So they will not be able to communicate. That's why the star topology totally depends upon the central hub or switch. More expensive than linear bus topology because of the cost of the hubs, etc. Because in star topology we need a central hub. Central hub will increase the cost of our network, so that's why it is more expensive than bus topology. Next type of topology is tree topology. A tree topology connects one star network to another star network. Look at this picture. We have two star network. One is on the left hand side, other is on the right hand side. And these two networks are connected to the central node. This is called your root node. So a tree topology is used to connect one star network to other star network. Both these left side and right side are star network, and to connect these network we need one central node. It has a root node and all other nodes are connected to it, forming a hierarchy. You can see in the picture we have a root node. This is our root node and all the other nodes are connected to it and it forms a hierarchy. Look, this central node is a parent and these two nodes are the child of this node. So it forms a parent-child hierarchy to how the nodes are connected. Transmission is done in the same way as in bus topology. Transmission is done in the same way as we have discussed in bus topology. Best suited for application which have hierarchical flow of data and control. It is particularly useful for those applications where there is hierarchical flow of data because tree topology is in the form of hierarchy, parent-child relationship. It is also called hierarchical topology. It should have at least 3 levels of the hierarchy. There are 3 levels of the hierarchy. This is first level. These 2 nodes are the second level and these 4 nodes are the third level. For tree topology, there should have at least 3 levels to the hierarchy. Next topic is features of tree topology. It is ideal if workstations are located in groups. Tree topology we use there when the computers or workstations have to be organized in groups, and it is particularly used in wide area network WAN. Now some advantages of the tree topology. Point-to-point wiring for individual segments. In this, each node is connected to the central node. Point-to-point wiring for the individual segment. This node is connected to the central root node using dedicated path. All these nodes are connected to the central node using dedicated path. So point-to-point wiring is here. Supported by several hardware and software vendors. To manage the tree topology, we need certain software and hardware vendors so that they can maintain the topology. Troubleshooting errors on the network is also a straightforward process as each of the branches can be individually assessed for performance issue. Because each node is connected to the central node through dedicated path, so if the central node and that particular node are not able to communicate, it means there is some fault on the dedicated path or on that node. So we can easily assess that and we can easily troubleshoot the error on the network. Disadvantages of tree topology. Overall length of each segment is limited by the type of cabling used. If the backbone line breaks, the entire segment goes down. What it means? It means that if the central hub will fail, the various node branches will become disconnected. Now, connectivity within but not between branch system will remain. If in this central node stops working, then what will happen? This left network is working, this right network is working fine, but this left and right network will not be able to communicate because their central node is not working. More difficult to configure and wire than other topology. Tree topology is difficult to configure and its cabling is difficult than other topologies that we have discussed earlier. Next type of topology is mesh topology. Depends on two functions, transmit and receive. In this topology, each node has only two functions. One is transmit. Transmit means it is sending data to another node. Receiving means it is receiving data from other nodes. Each station receives exactly from one transmitter. At a time, a node can receive only from the one transmitter. Each transmitter transmits to exactly one receiver. Similarly, a transmitter can send at a time only to one receiver. It can grow by install a PP link. PP link means point to point link, dedicated path between the nodes, between each pair of computers in the network. This approach is called mesh. Transmit and receive operations can occur either over separate wire or over the same wire. Look at this picture. Here, these four nodes all are connected to each other via a dedicated path. This node is connected to this node by dedicated path. It is also connected to this node by a dedicated path, also connected to this node by a dedicated path. So there is a point to point link between each pair of computers in the network. So this type of topology is called mesh topology. And we can perform transmit and receive operations either on the same wire. We can use the same wire to perform transmit and receive operations, or we can use separate cables for transmit and receive operations. A mesh topology can be full mesh topology or a partially connected topology. This picture is an example of full mesh topology because all nodes are connected to rest of the nodes on the network through dedicated path. In a full mesh topology, every computer in the network has a connection to each of the other computers in the network. Here we have a dedicated path to all other nodes of the network. The number of connections in this network can be calculated using the following formula: n into n minus 1 divided by 2, where n is the number of computers in the network. If we have 4 nodes, then the number of connections required is 4 into 3 by 2. The result will be 6. Now count here, we have total 6 connections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like this, we can calculate the total number of connections that we require on the mesh topology. And each computer will have 3 number of connection in the mesh topology, according to the above figure. In partially connected mesh topology, at least 2 of the computers in the network have connections to multiple other computers in that network. Look at this picture. All nodes are not connected to each other via a dedicated path, but in partially, so that means it is not a fully mesh topology. In partially mesh, at least 2 computers on the network should have the connection to multiple other computers on the network, like this. This computer has connection to this node, this and this. This computer has connection to this node and this node. So more than one computers have connection to the multiple other computers on the network. It can be called a partially mesh topology, not fully mesh topology. The web-like structure of mesh topology offers 2 different methods of data transmission. In mesh topology, we can use 2 methods of data transmission: routing and flooding. Routing means when data is routed, the nodes use logic to determine the shortest distance from source to destination. As we have learned that what is the purpose of router? It finds the shortest path from source to destination. Similarly, when mesh topology is using routing method of transmission, it will try to find the shortest path from source to destination, and once the path is found, it will send all the data through that path only. And when data is flooded, the information is sent to all nodes within the network. Flooded means broadcast. When we want to broadcast the information, data is sent to all the nodes within the network and there is no need to apply any routing logic. There are certain advantages of mesh topology. Avoid traffic since each link can carry its own data and none are being shared. We know that in mesh topology, each node has a dedicated path to the other node on the network. So they have a dedicated path. It means whenever they want to transmit or receive data, they will use that link. Okay, which will help in avoiding traffic. If one line breaks, the rest of the network is still functional. It is understood because we have dedicated path. If one link fails, the whole network remains unaffected. Rest of the network will still function. Easy to detect a problem in the network by discovering which device is having a problem and examining the link that connects to it. Again, because of dedicated path, we can easily detect which node is not receiving or sending data. We can easily identify, and by identifying we can easily examining, we can easily troubleshoot that problem. Disadvantages of mesh topology. Installation and configuration is difficult because in this topology we have to connect a node to all other nodes on the network. That's why the installation and configuration of this topology is difficult. Cabling cost is more because we have to connect one node to all other nodes. It means we need more number of cables. More number of cables means our cabling cost will also increase. Bulk wiring is required. Large number of cables are required to connect the nodes on the network. Network topology effects. There are some network topology effects. What we have understand is a topology is how we have connected the devices on the network and how the message flow from device to device. Topology is of two types. First is how the devices are connected and second how the message flow from one device to another. So we can divide the network topology into two types, physical and logical. Physical describes the physical way the network is wired, means how the actual physical layout of network has been done. That is your physical topology. Logical topology describes the way in which messages are sent. Logical topology means how actually the messages are sent from one node to another. Every network has both a physical and logical topology. On network, we have both type of topologies, physical and logical. It is possible to have one type of physical topology but a different logical topology. The physical topology of a network may be different from the logical topology of the same network. Following are the examples of logical topologies possible with a physical star topology. Now in this example, physically we have a star topology, but an Ethernet network connected using a hub has a logical bus topology. But if we implement our star topology with the help of hub, then logically it is a bus topology. Why? Because hub is not an intelligent device. It will send the message to all other nodes on the network. It will work similar to the bus topology where message is also received by all other nodes on the network. So that's why logically it is a bus topology but physically it is a star topology. And if we implement star topology using a switch, an Ethernet network connected using a switch has a logical star topology. If we implement physical star topology using switch, it will also form logical star topology. Why? Because switch is an intelligent device. It will send data only to the that node for which it is intended. So what we have understand that on a network we can have two type of topology, physical and logical topology. The physical topology of a network may be different from the logical topology of the same network. What we have understood from this session is network topology. It is the physical way in which computers are interconnected, how we have connected our computers on the network. Types of network topologies: bus, star, tree, mesh, and their advantages and disadvantages. Thank you.